Hey everybody, welcome back to The Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Today I'll be talking about 3 different copies of Bob Marley and the Wailers' Natty Dread. And the reason this has come up is the arrival of the new UHQR at 33 RPM. I was on board early with this series. I remember when this one was announced, was during the pandemic, and people were really at home buying things, and they loved limited editions, and these things were flying. This one lasted a couple of days, but that was it. 3,000 copies, I believe. It was very limited, whatever it was. And you had to be really on board that day and trying to get your order through, which was not easy. It was kind of breaking the system at Acoustic Sound. So it was fun, though. It was a fun time. These first 2, Rastaman Vibration and Exodus, came in the original dowel spine slipcases like this, which I love. Some people don't, but I loved them. They reminded me, of course, of where they were inspired from, which was the RCA Soria series for Living Stereo. Special editions had this wooden dowel spine, and they looked very fancy, and of course they had tip-in artwork and special finishes and stuff. So I thought that was really cool for a premium series, but I guess the production of these was slowing down things. And even though these 2 were done in dowel spine slipcases, and the first few Steely Dan titles, in mid-series, they made this announcement they were going to a clamshell box. Now, I was a little upset, not really, but a little upset that I was glad that, the Steely Dan collectors got their whole series in these slipcases. So when you have them in a row, they look really pretty, like Encyclopedia Britannica, as they say. But, the Marleys were separate events. I don't think they even thought they were going to do the rest of the catalog at that time. And unfortunately, the rest of these are coming in the new clamshell box, which I'll discuss in a minute, and which surprised me how high quality it is. I want to say one thing about this program, this reissue program. If you didn't get these, don't miss them. This is Uprising, and this is Kaya. These were 2x45s. They weren't announced to be done as UHQRs for some reason. I did ask Chad once, and the answer was a little vague, but I think if you told me these were UHQRs and I was blindfolded, I wouldn't question you. I think they sound really good. So I don't think it's anything to do with the sonics or the condition of the tapes. And musically, I think they're just fascinating. I love Kaya particularly, but also Uprising. There's great stuff on both of them. So if you don't have those, that's a great deal to get those at $60, I think, each. The 3 copies I have here are an early US pressing, not original, but early, the Speaker's Corner, and of course the UHQR. I do want to show you something about why I feel good about these clamshell boxes. When these were announced, I thought, oh no, they're going to be just reinforced tape attaching the top to the bottom, which doesn't work. If you have any old London opera sets, you know what I'm talking about. They always fall apart. This is different. This is a specific design for these. And look at that. It's a continuous piece of cardboard all the way across. No tape, no flimsy hinge. This is substantial, of course. It's heavy cardboard. It is scored so that it'll fold properly like this. And I don't foresee any problems with these new clamshell boxes. I think they look really nice, and if it speeds production to have it done this way, then I'm all for it. They still retained all the other features of the UHQR, so the embossing, the gold stamp, gold foil here, and the separately printed artwork, which is pasted in. Looks beautiful. Inside is the normal stuff. I'm not going to go through it too much here, but you get a booklet, you get your certificates, and you get a anti-scuff finish jacket, which is beautiful. It's a gatefold, so the original inner sleeve is instead printed inside the gatefold, which is nice. Mine is number 546, and oops, let's not lose this here. Balancing everything. Original Tough Gong label, of course the Clarity vinyl, and this is shipped outside of the jacket within this box. So I love that they think about these things because so many other companies don't. So it looks beautiful. Let's get on to this. So the original pressing I have, I've been listening to it for weeks before this arrived. It's not the first pressing by any means. It's a black label island pressing with sterling stampers. Honestly, when I heard this, I was like, I don't know how they're going to top this, because collectors over the years in the know have known that these original, here's the original inner sleeve, they know that these original sterling masterings were pressed on decent vinyl, and they sound wonderful, really good. If you have this, you already have a great sounding copy. The differences are noticeable, but not crucial. I think if you have this or one of the earlier ones and it's clean and quiet, you might be wondering how it could be beat. It has a rightness about it. It has an elastic quality that in the rhythm section, it just jumps and bounces. Like, I guess it's the way the dynamics play into the bass and the guitar and the organ working together. It's wonderful, especially noticeable on the opening cut, which is Lively Up Yourself. But there's so many good cuts on here that demonstrate different aspects of this album that, the original pressing is certainly viable. And if you are short on cash and can't pony up for this one, a $40 original would be an option that wouldn't be embarrassed in any high-end system. The next one I had was this one, the Speaker's Corner. When I got this, I thought it was perhaps better than the original copy that I have, or the early copy. However, in some ways it is. It's a more hi-fi presentation. There's more extension on top. Whether this is right or wrong, I'm not sure, but a lot of people will love it. It definitely has propulsion and bass response. It is an audiophile pressing for sure. Mine, unfortunately, I didn't catch some non-fill on the second side when I first got it, because I really loved the first side of this record, so I didn't get around to the second side originally. And of course, that window's long closed. So always check your records completely before the window closes. But I have the Sugar Cube. I can play this, and it plays perfectly. So that's a great reason for something like the Sugar Cube. This also happened with another Speaker's Corner title that I have, and I couldn't be more upset about it, but it is Crime of the Century by Supertramp. Yeah, same thing. Second side, non-fill. So, but it's beautifully produced. I love the jacket. It's like a heavy-duty gloss jacket, very pretty. They did this as a card, so instead of a sleeve, it's a card, of course. And all their wonderful releases, and an original label. Well, actually, I don't know if it's an original label. I think it's a reproduction of the US label. It's not a Tough Gong label. So this is characterized by a hi-fi presentation, more extension on top, possibly a little more forward in some ways. Not bad at all. When I first heard it, I had a different system, and it definitely stood out. It kind of, on a lesser front end, it kind of made itself known. So it pushed itself out a little further. And perhaps I thought it was better than the original, but now I'm not so sure. They're just two different flavors of the same thing. Each one could be recommended. If you're in the mood for a hi-fi audiophile type presentation and you want to invest in, this speaker's corner, I'm not sure how much they go for, but we're talking about tiers. So the original might be around 40, this might be around 60 or so. And then you have the UHQR at 125. So what's really interesting about the second wave of these Marley titles is they went to England to do it. Very unusual move. There's a video out there that talks all about this. It shows Chad Kassem and Ryan K. Smith, who, interestingly, is from Sterling, of course, going to Abbey Road, where the original tape was, and Frank Arkwright was there to assist with the mastering. So they were able to get their cut directly off the master tape. And I think that's where people are going to notice the difference, because it's very noticeable. As good as these other pressings are, the UHQR does something different. It feels like master tape passing ahead. It feels like so close to the original sound that, to me, it's absolutely worth the extra money. Another thing I love about this mastering is, unlike the speaker's corner that kind of emphasizes the top, this is smooth and round. So it feels relaxed, for one thing. Whereas the speaker's corner might feel a little tighter. This is relaxed, and to me, suggests the Jamaican vibe better than any other pressing here. Bass is a little deeper, not to the point of being muddy or anything like that. At least on my system, it stayed just in check perfectly. The rhythm, the pulse, everything is just wonderful. The vocals, especially, the clarity. The details are not pushed forward, but they're so clear and audible that it's just wonderful. The Clarity vinyl is quiet, and I really enjoyed the UHQR. You can turn it up loud, and I think, the Clarity vinyl doesn't make itself known. It's pretty quiet this time, which is really exciting for me, because in the past I've had some issues with it, the noise floor being a little high when you crank it. And you definitely want to crank a Bob Marley album. When I was in Jamaica in the grill and they would be playing things outside, it's always super loud, like on a PA system. And it was fun, but it's more fun to hear this mastering cranked loud on a better system today, and just realize not only how fabulous these songs are, which I'll talk about in a minute, but how wonderful the sound is. These original Bob Marley recordings are done really, really well. Livey Up Yourself will tell you right away everything you need to know about it, especially the rhythm section. It's wonderful the way it bounces and like pushes and immerses you into the Jamaican reggae sound. It's wonderful. I love that. Surprisingly, my least favorite track on this album is the most popular. No Woman, No Cry. I don't care to hear it anymore. I'm just kind of tired of it. is so overplayed that I just sat through it, but I wasn't really loving it. Does it sound good on the UHQR? Of course it does. It sounds great, but it wasn't my favorite. What I really liked was Rebel Music, Them Belly Full, But We're Hungry. Fabulous. The I3 sounds so good on that. They just, on the UHQR, it's so clear that you feel like you can hear several voices in those background voices. It's different than the other ones. The other ones are good. This one gives you the detail that you can see into those voices. It's really wonderful. The feeling of placement is really good too on this one. Like they're here, the bass is here, the organ's here, Bob is here. It's very dimensional and holographic, which is wonderful. The others do this to a lesser degree, so I'm not putting down the other copies, but the UHQR just takes a step further, and I think returning to that original master tape and taking that trip to England really made a huge difference. I love the way this came out. Oh, I wanted to mention one other song. Oh, Natty Dread, the title song, fantastic. I love the groove of that. I love the mood of it. It's got like a little bit of a back and forth between positive and negative. It's just wonderful. These are classic albums, classic performances. If you can afford the UHQR, I can recommend it highly. I love the presentation. I love the mastering. And when you think of what went into getting this to you, taking trips to the UK, going to all that extra effort, the price is, you're like, how could they have done this for this price? It's really something. I am a big fan of it, and I can recommend it highly. I think, Chad, Frank Arkwright, and Ryan K. Smith, together, they knocked it out of the park on this one. Will the 45 be better? Perhaps, but I'm really satisfied with a 33. I want to stick with 33 across. The only exceptions being Kaya and Uprising, which I had to have. And they only come as 45s. And I don't have a problem with that either. So those are my thoughts on the new UHQR of Natty Dread. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, I'm Scott for the Pressing Matters. Have a great day.